Going to talk about the Racer Guide gloves today. These are a short cuff glove, primarily intended for summer wear, and one of my favorite gloves currently on the market in that specific segment. They may not be particularly new. I think they've been around for a little while now, but they're an excellent option due to a couple safety features that I'll get into. But first, let's talk about fit. I wear a size 9 or large in the vast majority of brands I've tried out there. Racer, obviously, Held, size 9, Climb, size large, Alpine Stars, size large/9. Dainese, I find, runs a tiny bit smaller. I'm usually like on the outside of a large. So that gives you a good idea of fit. I'm a relatively slim hand with a meaty palm, and according to the measurements, I'm a large. I ordered a large. It fits wonderful. Okay. Let's talk about a few of the initial comfort features. So this is an all leather construction glove, and it's fairly simple. So you have a relative minimization of seams. You have outstitching on the palms, which is really nice. You don't feel the seams when you're riding, or stitching on the fingers, that is. You have a little bit of flexibility here. So when you're moving around, you have some flex, but otherwise, and a little bit up here on the fingers, but otherwise it's primarily relying on the pre-curved design to give you a really comfortable fit when you're manipulating controls. It's not using a lot of textile strip material like some gloves do. I think this probably means it's very safe and resilient in the slide because this is primarily leather. It does have a little bit reduced flexibility compared to some of the more textile summer adventure style gloves though. Construction, you have, again, almost entirely leather. You have a Pitard leather palm, so very resistant. You have a TPR style knuckle sewn in that gives you some impact resistance without being a hard slider. You have a small amount of impact absorption for the, I forget the name of the bone, the wrist bone there. And you have only a little bit of ventilation. You have ventilation here on the two control fingers, and you have some on the top. However, the entire inside of the glove is lined with a Cool Max liner, which is very moisture wicking, very fast drying, and even in 90-degree Fahrenheit, fairly humid Virginia riding on an adventure bike, on an Africa Twin, I never found these to be too hot. So I think that's very compelling from an overall construction perspective to still not be uncomfortable in temperatures like that. The other benefit of having that Cool Max liner is when you go to take the gloves off, they come off very easily even when you're quite sweaty. So that is excellent. The big safety thing to talk about here, though, is just beyond the all-leather construction, the knuckle grab, is these Knox SPS protectors. This is their scaphoid protection system. They have a number of different models of these protectors available to any glove manufacturer that wants to buy them and put them in. And these are, in my opinion, the biggest reason to buy this pair of gloves. Because when you crash, and most of us who haven't crashed numerous times, as you come off the bike, you will reach out with your palms to try and brace yourself. Your body just does it instinctively. And when you hit the concrete, these will slide very nicely. Not only will they slide, but they have some light padding behind them to absorb impact. I had an accident last year. I was wearing a pair of Knox gloves, actually they're Urbane Pros, which have the exact same protectors. My partner, who wound up coming off the bike as well and impacted on her palms, she had a glove with one slider and a little impact absorber here. She broke a large number of bones in her wrist, especially on the right-hand side, which was her first impact. And I cannot guarantee that if she'd had a glove like this with a Knox SPS to mitigate some of that initial impact through sliding instead of hitting and pulling, I can't guarantee that would have reduced the number of breakages, but talking to doctors, doing research, seeing how easy it is to break a lot of the very small bones in this part of your hand, I do think that this is, having something here and having a slider here is one of the better things that you can do for hand safety in the event of a crash, especially a higher side crash with a lot of impact. So this is the big selling feature. Otherwise, you don't have a whole lot of protection anywhere else. You have the TPR here, like I said, but this is where you're most likely to hit. In a tumble, you've got lots of leather you don't have to worry about. I think on some of the textile gloves, they'll run kind of TPU, TPR over the top because it's just a very thin mesh. Having all their construction kind of mitigates that. The leather is going to protect you pretty well. And again, you've got double layers on all your impact zones. So it's a pretty safe short cuff glove. It's using, and you have a little bit of an overlay to kind of help catch this area with a double layer and prevent catching on the Velcro. It is micro Velcro here. It's a full length piece of soft Velcro on this side. Micro Velcro to not catch on your sleeve and fray things, which is very nice. And I really like that they ran the Velcro all the way out to the edge. Not all the brands do this. So if you have a larger wrist and you're, kind of more like this, you're still getting the maximum amount of security here. If you have a wrist like me and you can close it all the way with a little bit of overlap, you're getting a full coverage. So all in, for $120 MSRP here in the US, I think this is an excellent summer offering for sport riding, for day riding, for adventure touring. If you want a more traditional full leather glove with a short cuff to go under the sleeve to maximize airflow, and you like me, want to prioritize scaphoid protection, I think this is one of the best options out there today. And yeah, that's the Racer Summer Gloves. I highly recommend them.